All right, we got a new one. This one's about budgeting. I've managed to save over $100,000 in the last 3 years using this budgeting technique. What's the secret? I use automation to make sure I pay my future self first. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the basics of budgeting. We're talking about needs, wants, and savings or debt. I'm going to show you the budgeting tool that I use and the secret sauce, which is how to automate your money. By the end of this video, you're going to have a budget set up and ready to roll. I will include a Google Sheets link to the budgeting tool that I use and I'm going to be showing in this video for free. If you're already a seasoned budgeter and have your own tool set up, or you understand how needs, wants, and savings work, skip to the final section to learn about automating. Now, budgeting is actually a lot of fun. I have a really good time doing this. What you're doing is you're taking the money you're earning and you can actively choose how you want to spend it. You can choose how much to spend on the vacation that you've been dreaming of, or how much to put aside for that new snowboard you've been wanting. All of this can be achieved while managing debt, planning for the future, and keeping yourself housed and fed. All the most important things. Let's get right into it. All right, we're going to start off with what basic budgeting is. If you just go and you Google budgeting, the first thing you're probably going to see is a discussion about needs, wants, and savings or debt. Essentially, all of the expenses in your life can be split up into these three categories. We're going to go over each one in a brief detail. Needs are the most important and should always be prioritized. These are your daily life essentials. These are the things you need to pay or else. This includes expenses like housing, being your rent or mortgage, your utilities, your groceries, your transportation, which is car payment, gas, insurance, public transportation fees, and car or vehicle or bike maintenance. Your healthcare, so doctor's visits, insurance, if you're paying insurance out of pocket, and minimum debt payments. So if you have student loans, if you have health bills, if you have outstanding credit card debt, these also go into needs. These are things you need to be paying. So all of these things and anything else that's non-negotiable. And I mean things you really cannot live without. Now, this should make up roughly 50% of your monthly income. If you're pretty frugal and you're making smart decisions about how to set up your needs category, you can reduce this from 50%, right? You could have roommates. You could try to live in an area that's a little cheaper. Could get a bike and use your bike to commute instead of having a car. There's a lot of ways you can get creative and try to save some money here. And then you can take that extra money and you can either put it in your wants category and put a little extra away for that vacation, or you can put it in your savings and save for the future. It's up to you. And that's why this is great. All right, so that's needs. We're moving on to wants. Wants are what the word implies. It's the expense in life of things you want or you want to experience, but don't necessarily need to live. Personally, I categorize my wants as eating out, going out, subscriptions, gym membership, any lessons, activities, shopping, or travel. Ideally, you want to aim for 30%. Finally, we have savings. I like to call this savings/debt because you can put a little extra towards paying off your monthly debts on top of whatever goes into your needs. Your needs is what is mandatory to pay, right? Your mandatory minimum car payment, your mandatory minimum student loan payment, and then anything extra you can categorize into your savings part of your debt, right? So you're putting a little bit of extra money away to get rid of some interest payments you might be making on those things. Things in savings that I include myself are emergency funds, 401k, Roth IRA, future home savings, so future down payment money, and then some stock market investing as well. Now that you have an understanding of what goes into needs, wants, and savings, we're going to hop on over to the budgeting tool. I'm not going to use my exact salary because it might harm my chances at negotiating in the future for other jobs. So I'm going to use an even $90,000 a year before taxes. So this is your gross income in this example. Now I'm going to just calculate how much that is per month. I'm just going to ask Google. 90,000 a year after taxes. I'm going to put Colorado. So you'll be roughly taxed $23,366, which will net you $66,634 after taxes to spend. So this is all the money you can spend after taxes per year, which comes out to $5,553 per month, roughly. So we're going to hop on over to the budgeting tool here. So what we have here, this first line, this is the budget that we're currently using. Every time you go in and update your budget, you're going to keep the previous line. So I'm going to keep this line here. That one was updated 9/30/2022. It's not true, but so for this today's budget, we're going to be inputting. I'm going to enter a new date, 2/9/2025. The day I'm recording this video. Net pay is the same here. I just did Control C, Control V, copy paste. We're going to leave the buffer at 0. We'll come back to the buffer later. Actually, we're just not going to even have the buffer. Delete this column. There was an old feature that is no longer needed in this tool. I'm not using it anymore, so you don't need to use it either. And then this here is important in the later section when we go and look at the accounts. Now, what this part does is whatever budget you're actually going to use and you want to commit to your accounts, you're going to put a 1 here and you're going to put a 0 in all of the other ones. This will make it so that on the summary screen, which isn't populated yet because we don't have any data in here. Actually, if I switch this to a 1, this to a 0, you can see I don't have any of the accounts set up yet, so you can't see everything exactly, but you'll have a summary page here that'll be populated once we set all this up. So groceries. How much do you spend on groceries? Now, if you're a single adult, you can literally go into Google and say, so single adult monthly grocery cost, and then put your city. So Denver for me. We're just looking for an average here to go off of. Or you can get this yourself, right? You can just, how much you spend on groceries. Look at your credit card bill, look at your bank statement. Now I'm seeing the average cost of groceries per month is about $504. I'm also seeing 342. So we're going to go ahead and go in the middle here. Monthly recommended minimum amount of money per person, assuming 31 days per month, $450. I think that's a good place to go. So we're going to put $450 in for groceries. Now for rent, how much you pay for rent, right? If you have a roommate, in my case, I have a roommate. I actually pay just about $1,000 a month per rent, which is pretty affordable here in Denver. So we're going to go ahead and put $1,078.50 here, same as above there. Utilities, splitting it with another person, that's great, right? My water is included, my trash is included in my rent. The thing that we're paying for here is gas, electric, and then our internet. And between the two of us, that comes out to $75. Car loan, this is actually how much I pay on my car loan, $459.66. I got my car back in 2022, so it was after COVID, very expensive to get a car. Since then, I'm going to go ahead and put in my car loan payment. Now, you can change these. Let's go to this variable tab here. So the way you change these up here in this header, all of these categories that I have pre-built, you're going to go to the variable tab here, and you're going to change them here. So if you are biking instead of having a car, you're going to put in bike maintenance. And then we're going to go back to budget balance, and you'll see it says bike maintenance now. We can expand the column out a little bit, right? So, or if you're taking public transportation, again, you can say bus fare. How much is your monthly bus fare? How much are you spending every day? Multiply that by 30, 31, probably 31. You want to be a little more conservative when you're putting your budget together, so you don't go under, you want to go over just in case. I'm going to plan for if you go over just a bit. So add that extra day in, 31. So you see it says bus fare there now. We're going to go back. I'm going to change this back to our loan. Doctor, I'm going to leave that blank for now. If you're in your 20s, hopefully you're doing all right. If you have a regular drug prescription you have to pay for, or you're paying for insurance out of pocket, you can go ahead and put that in there as you need. I do personally budget $100 for the doctor, just in case I'm sick, or if I need to go for a regular doctor visit once a month. I think that's all right. Car insurance and repairs. So what I am doing here is I'm taking the average amount you should put away for car repairs. So I'm going to go ahead and Google that. Average yearly car repair cost. So according to, over the course of a year, if you drive 15,000 miles, it's about $1,400 in repair costs you should put away. So I'm going to go ahead and put in equals 1,400 divided by 12. So that comes out to $116.67. Now, I don't drive quite that much. I don't drive 50,000 miles. I probably drive 10,000 miles a year, maybe a little bit less than that. I don't drive a lot, even though I pay so much for my car payment. So I'm going to drop this down to about $70 a month, just because I'd say I probably drive half of what that is. So that is the repair cost. And then I'm going to go ahead and click add. Now my insurance, I know how much that is. So I pay $900 every 6 months. So I'm going to divide that by 6. Comes out to $150 a month. So we are so far at 70 plus 155 plus, and then I want to also include my yearly car registration fees, right? So this usually isn't something that's very expensive, but in Denver, it's a little more pricey. So I believe I paid $350 when I went to go get my car registered. Pretty expensive. So I'm going to do $350 divided by 12. So that added on an additional $29. Now, if you're budgeting for this and you're putting away money every month for your registration, it's not a big deal when it comes time to pay it, you already have that money set aside. If you aren't ready for it and you're just like, oh, I got to pay $350, it's a little bigger of a deal, right? Gas, I don't drive a lot, so I put away about $35 a month for gas. Don't always use it. And then my minimum student loan payments right now is about $100. So again, you want to think of all the things that are important to you. Now, this should be set at 50. Now here at the top, this is the category it should be set at by default, right? So what we said earlier, 50, 30, and then savings is 20. You can change these here. Now, what these columns are doing is just telling you how much you've budgeted. So budgeted total. Now, what that means is how much, if your needs category is 50%, what is 50% of this net pay here? That's $2,776.42. So that's how much you have to budget, how much you're working with. Now, this here is telling you, based on what you've typed into all of these fields here, this is how much, this is the actual rate that your needs category is. And then this is how much money you have left over. So you can either take this $429 and allocate it to these different groups here, or we can go and drop, I'm going to copy this here and paste it right here. We're going to drop our needs category down from 50% down to value only, down to 44.07%. Update the formula there. All the formulas are good. So now our needs category is down to 44% over the 50. So we're saving a little money there. Now we're going to our eating out, or we're going to wants now. So in wants, let's just go and look up the statistic, right? Say monthly cost of eating out Denver. This one's probably a little bit harder to find. I'd say I like to go out and eat out. I try to eat out like, I don't know, a couple times a week, which say it's $25 to eat out. So let's do 25 times, say a couple, say 3. We go eat out 3 times a week. I like to cook a lot at home and try to save some money personally. But if yours is higher, increase this to a higher number. 25 times 3 times 4. So there's 4 weeks in a month, roughly. It's about $300. Now let's say we want to eat out 4 times a week. $400. So that's kind of what I had up there previously. So we're eating out, we're budgeting for eating out about 4 times a week at $25, 4 weeks out of the month. Subscriptions, I have personally Apple Cloud Space. So that's $2.99 a month. I have, I think, a Crunchyroll subscription for $14 a month. And then I have YouTube Premium, which is, I believe, $140 a month divided by 12, or a year. I pay for the yearly one, a little cheaper. Buy stuff for the year. So that comes out to about, and then I think I have a Canva subscription as well. So I'm at $43.66 for subscriptions and services like that. So I'm going to bump the Apple one up to 3, so add a little extra there. And I also have Spotify for, I believe I think it's 12. $55.67 for subscriptions. And if you want to make a note here, you can go ahead and do that. You can say, I'm going to insert a comment. I'm going to say iCloud plus Crunchyroll plus YouTube Premium. You can go here and I'm going to go ahead and insert a note here, just specifying iCloud, Crunchyroll, YouTube Premium, Canva, and Spotify. So if you want to see what goes into that formula up here, you have a record of it. Gym, I think average gym costs, if you look it up on Google, is about $50 a month. I actually go to a climbing gym and it's $102 a month. They have yoga, they have climbing, bouldering, and also weights. I like going to the climbing gym because it's a little more social. You can go meet people, you can go talk to folks. Regular gyms, a little harder to communicate with people. Everyone's got their headphones in and they don't want to be bothered. Lessons, I take Greek lessons currently. So those are $20. So $20 a week, I do 4 lessons a month. It comes out to $80. Personal growth, I just like to put a little extra here. I have a bank account just for that. Say if I want to just go and spend money on a course or some books or something like that, I'm just putting the money there for when the time comes. I don't want to be like held back from doing something that would benefit me by not having that money there. Activities, it's just going out, doing things throughout the week, throughout the month, right? Shopping. So if you're saving up for a certain item at the beginning of the video, saving up for a snowboard, you're saving up for a new camera, you're saving up for some new headphones, something like that, right? You can put this into shopping if you just want to put, say you like to buy clothes. If you like to buy clothes, put money aside for it. This is that category. Let's just say $250 a month. you like to shop a little more, maybe increase it. And travel. I read a book recently called Die with Zero. This kind of got me thinking of making sure that I am traveling and purchasing experiences, the activities, travel, right? Just going out and making sure I have money aside no matter what, just to go do things that are great, a great time to live life, right? Get you out of the everyday, weekly grind, the mundaneness of life sometimes, right? So I like to budget a little bit higher on this one. I like to put about $400 aside for travel a month. So at the end of the year, you'll have a good chunk of money to go on a nice vacation. All right, so our budgeted total, again, this is our income times this percentage here, comes out to $1,665.85. How we've actually put away $29.49 and with a little leftover of $28. So we're gonna go ahead and take this $29.49, again, paste this up here because we're not exactly hitting 30%. We're a little bit under, so that's good. Could do better though. If you wanna save some more money again, you can try hitting some of these categories. All right, now we're going on to the savings, right? This is paying your future self. So emergency fund, it's good to just have a little bit of extra money aside in case you go over one of these categories or you need to go over into one of these categories. Say you have medical issues, anything, right? Anything that you really just need some extra cash. Emergency fund, we're gonna put away $200 a month. That'll come out to $2,400 a year. That's good enough to get you through 2 months of rent and some groceries, right? You can bump this up if you are concerned and want a little extra cushion. And if you're not spending this money, it's only going to grow, right? It'll grow. Now, 401k, this is set up through your work. I'm just putting in a vague number here of $300 a month. You set this through your work. You should, a lot of employment places that offer 401k programs, they will match up to a certain amount, right? So they'll double it at the first 3%. Just set your 401k so that you're getting the most money for free from your employer. You don't necessarily need to go all out, max it out. One you should be focusing on is the Roth IRA. Now, the difference between these two is the 401k is money is being taken out of your paycheck and it's not being taxed. So it's being put into account. And then when you retire at 65 and you take this money out to use, you're getting taxed on it. So whatever money you have coming in plus the 401k money, that's your income tax. Money is going to be taxed. The Roth IRA is a little different. You can only put in a set amount every year. I think this year is $6,500 or $7,000. So you can only put in that much money per year. And what this works is this is money you've already been taxed on. And when you take it out in the future, when you reach retirement age, you're not going to be taxed on that money. Also, you're not going to be taxed on the gains that were made in the account for that money. So again, 401k, you're not taxed now. You're taxed when you take it out way later. Roth IRA is the opposite, where you are taxed now and you're not going to be taxed on that money later. Prioritize the Roth IRA if you can. Go set up an account, start putting money in it today. You can also put this money into the stock market and have it be traded in both of these accounts. So 500, I'm just doing some math here, with the 6,000. So that's the minimum you should be putting away into your Roth IRA is $500 a month if you want to max it out. And I recommend doing that. Now, house fund, if you want to buy a house in the next however many years, you should do the math and figure out how much your down payment is going to cost and how much you need to put aside. I'm not in a big rush to get a house right this second, so I'm just putting money in there. And if I start to get closer to that time, I'm going to bump this up, have a little bit more money going in there. This is just cash I have for when I'm ready to purchase a house. I'm going to go ahead and put this at $250. And then investments, you see here on the side, we still have cash. We're working with this leftovers category here, which actually this formula needs to be updated. Yes, this formula is correct. Just expanding this formula out. So we have an extra $200 to work with here. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of that in the investments account. So $217.84, and that leaves us with a balance of 0, right? So this part here is already calculated based on the difference between 100% minus whatever your needs percentage is, minus your wants percentage, automatically populates your savings and debt percentage. If there's extra debt you're trying to pay off, right? So I pay, this is what I'm doing currently, I pay this much, almost $460 for my car loan. And we're going to go in here and add in car loan debt. So we're going to pay a little extra on that car loan because it could be your student loans as well. Anything with a high interest rate, you want to try to pay off as much as possible, because any of the other money you're putting away, if the interest you're making on that money, if the money you're making on that money you're putting into savings, isn't equal to the amount you're paying in debt and interest, you should prioritize the debt for sure, right? So in this case, my car loan's interest rate, I think, is about 5%. And if I'm putting money into this, say, house fund, I have it in a long-term savings account, so I get 4% back. Well, if my car loan is 5%, it would make more sense to put money into the car loan payment, right? Because I would be saving money in the long run. I'd be paying less in that interest versus the interest that I am making in other places. So car loan debt here, I'm going to actually take the house fund down to 200, take the investments down to 200, and we're going to pay an extra $67.84 on our car loan every month. So we're paying almost $500. We're paying $527.50. So that's extra money towards our car loan. So that is the end of part 2 on how to go through this entire budget sheet and set it up for yourself. Now, the next part is part 3, which is automation. So there's another section to this, which is accounts. Now, you see in this variable area, there's these accounts here. I set this up recently for myself. The way I do this is I have 4 accounts that I send my paycheck to through direct deposit. So when I get paid, I have it set up so that money goes into bank 1, bank 2, bank 3, right? They're all different checking accounts, and then an investment account. And what happens here is this money gets then sent automatically in the banks. You can set schedule automatic transfers. Each one of these banks then sends money to other accounts, right? So I have bank 1 has a checking account and then a backup account. So a saving emergency fund. I'm going to put emergency, right? So there's an emergency fund. So when money gets sent, it's going to get sent to bank's 1 checking account, and then I have it scheduled to automatically send additional money from the checking account to this emergency fund here. Same for bank 2. So bank 2 has a checking account. Money gets right out of that checking account when I get paid, and then from there, I have a car fund, house fund, travel fund, all in that. They're all savings accounts with high yield savings accounts. So there's 4% is coming back to me into those accounts. These are categories that I'm not touching often, is why I can do a high yield savings account. I'm not touching the house fund money. I'm not touching the travel fund money very often, right? It's just sitting there for the most of the year. And I'm just making money on that money. It's growing. Again, same for 3. I have 3 has a money market account, slightly higher interest you're making there. And then the growth fund, as well as another emergency fund. And then the investment bank one is the investment bank one, and then automatic is automatic. So set those up for yourself. Open up accounts if you have to. You want to try to split your money up into multiple places. Now, the way I have this working for myself is I have a bank 1 is my needs account. So all of my needs go into this account. The savings accounts aren't as important, but I use this checking account to pay down my needs. And I'll show you how that works in a second. Bank 2 is my wants account. Well, bank 2 is like another needs account, and I'll show you. So we're going to leave it as bank 1 and bank 2, but you'll see what I mean here when we go through the exercise. So now we're going to go back to this budget balance here, and you see all of these drop downs here. So these drop downs correlate with the variables we have for these accounts. So I want my groceries to come out of this checking account, bank 1. Bend that out a little bit. So bank 1 checking for my groceries. And then for my rent, so I want my rent to be an account that's separate from my groceries. So that way I'm not doing the calculation in my head. I just have an account with my fixed expenses in there already, right? So rent, utilities, car loan, all of those things go straight into that account. So that is going to be bank 2 checking account I have set up just for that reason. So it's needs 2.0 is what I was saying in the previous screen. It's my second needs. So 1, bank 2 checking. Utilities, again, this is one of those fixed accounts. So it's going to bank 2 checking. I'm just dragging these out to make it look a little nicer. Car loan, again, another fixed one. That one's the same every single month. Separate from the car fund. The car fund I'll explain. Now, next, we have doctor. I'm going to put this in the regular checking, right? This is variable, like groceries. It can happen or not. I currently have it set to 0, so no money's even going there. But if I did set it, that's where it would go. Car repairs and insurance / registration. Now, I have a account called car fund, and I put all of that money into that account. So when I need to pay my insurance, that money's there. I just take it out, send it to an account, pay off my car insurance. Same goes for registration and any maintenance, right? That account just keeps growing. And this account is a high yield savings account, so I get 4% back for that money being in there. Now, next is gas. Gas is going into the same one as groceries. So groceries and gas are in the same account, as well as the doctor. And then student loans, I pay those directly out of this checking account here, checking account 1. So groceries, doctor, gas, and student loans all come out of that first account. And then the second account are the more fixed ones: rent, utilities, car loan, and then car maintenance is its own savings account. Now, this is the account that you are direct depositing the money into. Final account is the account that the send account is automatically sending money to those final accounts. So just because this is bank one, I'm going to go bank one checking. This is bank two, so bank two checking. This is bank two checking, so bank two checking, right? So I'm tying, this should be bank one, bank two car fund. It needs to go to the bank two checking account to be sent to the bank two car fund. And these are the same, and this is the same. So now I have the account set up for my needs. Now we're going to go over the wants. Same thing, eating out. So my third checking account, this one is set up for my wants. So eating out, anything that's not reoccurring, I'm going to capture here. So eating out, activities, shopping, those three things I'll pay out of a checking account in bank three. I'm going to go to these accounts here, or these variables here actually. And I already have an emergency fund here in bank one. So this is actually not an emergency fund. This is subscriptions. So I'm going to go here, subscriptions, for subscriptions. Other things that go into the subscriptions category are things that are reoccurring. So that would be things like the gym. These are things that are being paid once a month. So I can put them in a money market account or a higher yield savings account because I'm only taking money out once per month for these things. So subscriptions for the gym, I have a money market account set up for these. Lessons, another reoccurring cost. It's actually this money market account. So this bank three is pretty much nothing. It's actually money market. Personal growth, I think I have my own growth fund for that. I just have an account for that. It's all separate. And then travel, I have the travel fund in bank two. So because that's in bank two, I need to set this to bank two. This is bank three. Everything else is bank three. So we're going to do bank three for the rest of these. Bank three is my wants bank for the most part. And then savings and debt. Emergency fund, I have go to my bank one emergency fund here. So bank one, 401k automatically goes to an investment bank account, just straight from my paycheck. Roth IRA, I also have set up to do that. Goes to the house fund in bank two. Investments, again, goes to the investment bank. So I actually send the money to the investments. I have a personal investments account where I just trade stocks for fun. So I have money go to that account. And then from that account, money is automatically sent to the Roth IRA. And then the 401k is automatically taken out of my paycheck. So I'm not sending that anywhere. It just comes up there on its own. I could actually just put it as automatic for 401k. And then Roth IRA and investments both go to the same bank. And then car loan extra, it needs to be labeled as car fund. And that goes to bank two. So now we have all of our automatic money sends set up logically. Now if I go here, this is more filled out. Fix that formula there. Get rid of this paycheck piece. So now you can see in summary, everything we just typed in here in a different way. So you've got your Roth IRA and your investments. It's going to the investment bank account and then getting sent to the Roth IRA or the investments account. You can see here for gas, doctor, groceries, and student loans, those are all being sent to the bank one checking account, and then they're getting routed as needed to other places. So in this case, emergency fund is being sent to the emergency fund account automatically. Car loan debt, drag this formula down and make sure we're correct here. Oh, so the reason you're seeing different numbers here versus, I talked about this at the beginning, the reason these numbers, so you see here car loan debt is blank, even though we have something filled in for car loan debt, right? It's actually showing you the number for the previous line. And that's because you need to set this to a 0 and set this to a 1, saying that this is now the account we want to use. This is our current live budget. So now you see, where'd it go? Car loan debt is now $33.92, right? So now this accurately reflects everything. This shows you now when you go to your direct deposit for your work, your employer, and you need to send the money to different places. This shows you a breakdown of how you're going to do that, right? What's happening up here is it's saying your monthly pay, right? We already had that in the previous page. And then if you get paid biweekly, I'm putting in number of pay periods per month. So I get paid biweekly. So I put a 2 there. I have 2 pay periods per month because it's biweekly. So the total I get paid per pay period is $2,776.42 following this example. And then that goes ahead and takes whatever category is investment banking or investment here, the investment bank. And then it takes this amount here and throws it in here, right? So these two categories here, this is by month. So all of these are accurately reflected. If I hover over all of these, that's the same total that I see there. And then if I hover over all this, that's the same total I see there. So these, all the money's going to the correct places. Go type these into your work thing and then set up the automatic transfers at your bank. And then once you do that, so say I go and I go into my direct deposit for work and I have those routed for $350 to go into the investment bank account, investments. And then I go into the investments account and set up a automatic transfer to my Roth IRA of $250 after I get paid. Every time I get paid. So I'm going to go ahead and check those off as good, right? So that way you mental check that you went and did the extra work to make sure these were put in. If you made it this far, go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be making more videos like this showing you how to automate your life, help you navigate the things that they don't teach you in high school and college, just about how to live normal life after school as an adult in the working world in your 20s, right? I kind of learned all this on my own. I read books. So I'm just trying to share the stuff that I've learned and I've done so far as I've transitioned into more adult life, right? Budgeting. It's fun, but it's not something everybody teaches you. So thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Fist bump. Thanks for the like, thumbs up. And a book I recommend is Die with Zero. Very good book, opens your mind to budgeting better. So many people just die with saving all this money and they didn't get to spend it doing fun things and things that are enjoyable, right? Go on that trip, put money aside for it, do the things you enjoy. Whatever makes you happy. You don't need to die with a bunch of money unless you want to give it to your kids, but that's set up a savings account for that. But prioritize doing that separately. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to drop any questions below. Thanks for watching.